Thank you for joining us on Front Up. Our guest today is Rob McNeil, the DPW Director. How are you doing, Rob?
Doing great.
Thanks for joining us. Is this your first time on Front Up?
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you very much for having me.
Thank you. So 6 months you've been here?
I have. It's been a fantastic experience so far on the island, and I'm delighted to report that the staff is fantastic. It's been great to matriculate into such a great program here, and there's so much going on. It's really it's been initially a daunting task, but we're starting to really take a whack at all the different things going on, and we're going through various stages of planning efforts for future projects, and so there's a lot of balls in the air, but it's all exciting stuff.
So what do you've been here 6 months, and we know Nantucket is a whole different animal. Once you live here, you can say, we do things differently here, but off Islanders are kind of like, yeah, whatever, but it really is different. What do you know now, you've been here 6 months, than when you first stepped on the island?
Well, it brings up a great point. And actually, in fact, my wife and I just got stuck off island for the first time recently. So
check that off the list.
Yeah, so it's funny, all these different things that add up to the true Nantucket resident experience. I would say that we've been through quite a bit of that, from recognizing the cost of living here, which is dramatically different, to just being able to acquisition certain items, whether that is through the Public Works, or just ordering through Amazon, or the rest of it, getting mail. Just everything is a little bit different here, based on mostly the complexities of logistics. So it certainly did take me a while to get used to that, particularly from the Public Works end of things, when we were to get a certain item, and people looked at me like, yeah, that's going to take a good week or two once we're actually ready to order it and get it ready for the public procurement end of things. To get it here is certainly challenging, and mostly dealing with vehicles. Certain things can be repaired here if they have to go off for a specialty or anything like that. Again, the complexities of just dealing with getting it off island, scheduling it to be repaired and such at an outside vendor is just a different level of complexity.
Are there any projects that have come up in your first 6 months here that have been interesting or have?
Well, they've all been interesting. I'd say one early in my foray here it's sort of introduced me to a lot of what to expect, and has been sort of really validating about our decision to come here. Was the seemingly simple project of restoring the horse fountain right on Main Street, and so it was part of my daily run through, get to work in the morning, take a look at what's going on, and this sort of thing the horse fountain itself right in the center of Main Street started to grow on me, like, hey, wow, this is really interesting. It's a focal point that is maintained by the garden club. Right. And to me, it was really an excellent symbol of people, force people when they come into town. It's sort of a focal point. The critical piece to every project is communication. Communicating with people to solicit feedback as to what they want, and then right through the project, what to expect as the project progresses. And that was sort of it was a really good reminder to me that was a piece that was missed. It was a simple type of project. It was something that was intended to happen very quickly, but just that pause of just that weekend really opened up the door for criticism and skepticism as to what did this new guy come in and do. So obviously we had no intention of changing anything. In fact, I tell people all the time, I've been married for 21 years now because I stopped picking paint colors a long time ago. Again, just a very small example of something we could do here together to really make our community better.
And you've had other projects,
Oh,
bridges, infrastructure,
Sure.
things that have been
Sure. I
thrown
mean,
at you day one. When you
Yeah,
got
I
here.
mean, nothing more popular than closing the footbridge in Sconset the day before Daffodil Weekend, right?
Mhm.
So that's another one that I was sort of thrown into the fire, and
Right.
and our staff handled things very professionally. I got to give kudos to my deputy director, Chuck Larson,
Mhm.
who was intimately involved with all things Sconset footbridge, coordinated with our vendor engineers, and in a pretty quick turnaround, we were able to really ascertain the problems out there, come up with some solutions that were manageable in-house, and we got our facilities group together, and in my opinion, they hit it out of the park. I would say the biggest challenge that I'm seeing so far
Mhm.
is really our limited capacity to construct. We are so busy in the summer season with the population. So just the sheer numbers of folks here
Mhm.
limits our ability to really do much of anything in some of these highly densely populated areas or densely used areas. So where New England is challenged to begin with
Mhm.
a limited construction season
Right.
because of weather in the winter months, and so most construction is focused in the summer. So here, we can't do that.
You've got
Or
the two little
or we can't.
shoulders.
So we're as busy on the shoulder seasons as most people are in the dead of summer, which obviously it's challenging because both of those shoulder seasons are typically can be pretty poor weather seasons,
Mhm.
right? So you're not paving, for instance, on a rainy day. So again, you're cutting into your already limited construction season.
Having conversations with you this past 6 months, it seems that you're very passionate about recycling and sustainability and bringing more of that into DPW to the island.
Sure.
Would you like to talk anything about, I don't know how much,
Sure.
a lot of them are ideas, I don't know how
Yeah.
far they are in the process.
So it's really exciting to be a part of the solid waste recycling program here. The program is a bit unique in again, its own little Nantucket way.
Mhm.
We have landfill mining going on, for example, which is very unique to Massachusetts. It does go on in other parts of the country, but here we're actually reducing the overall volume of our landfill by taking out of it what is salvageable, which is really fantastic. Just a quick example. So beyond that, just the recycling end of things are, again, very unique here just based on the logistics of getting things off island, where normally recyclable diversion programs will actually take and ship, these, all the commodities that are recyclable, the plastics, the tin and aluminum,
Yep.
the steel, etc. Package them together, bale them, and take them off island. Here, because of the digester, we're able to compost that which is compostable, the paper, in some cases, food waste,
Mhm.
even at a commercial scale. These items off island are specifically banned from the solid waste programs. They're not encouraged to be incinerated because they're compostable. So here, because we have a composting program, those items that are specifically waste ban items off island are included in the waste stream that then becomes compost. So that's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge because of the great influx of off-island folks in the summertime. So where we have people that are historically trained to do recycling their way,
Right.
really have to get that in a way, because it really does account for a tremendous percentage of our users and our waste stream in those summer months. It's important to develop messaging to make sure folks understand why. Everyone that comes and everyone that lives here, they're smart people. So they not only can understand, they want to understand the programs that the public, that the municipal offices in every arena are offering. So one thing I'm excited to bring to the table is that we're looking for a recycling coordinator, someone that's going to be able to help develop some of these messages, and also reach out to our on-island folks that English is not their first language. Again, to help reach the entire population, not just the English-speaking population, to really make sure that the program is working the way it should be.
That's a great idea, recycling coordinator.
Sure.
That could be a 100-hour-a-week job on this island.
It's, like most jobs out here, it doesn't end when, the sun goes down. There's something going on to discuss or to develop all the time. And it continues to change. So that's the exciting part of it. I tell people, in my position, the beauty is there's never, I'm never bored. There is constantly something going on.
Right.
And just when I think, my day is planned, something pops up or 10 things pop up that are completely either out of the blue or we really hoped wasn't going to happen until somewhere down the road. So, it's sort of a balancing act.
Are there any projects coming up that you'd like to get out there in next year, next 2 years?
Sure.
I'm sure they have to be passed through certain
Well,
committees
one of the things that's sort of been lagging that I'm excited to announce, we're starting just this coming Monday, is a sidewalk program. It's been talked about and funded. It just hasn't been executed. So we're taking the very first steps to improve the walkability of our downtown. That's hugely beneficial to all the users, whether it's off season or on season in the summer. Getting pedestrian capacity and having safe spaces to walk around town benefits everybody. So we are taking on a widening project that's going to include a short stretch of Easy Street from the bulkhead to Straight Wharf, and then the entirety of Straight Wharf. We're only talking one side, and we're widening roughly 3 feet, but I think the results are going to be noticeable. Being able to improve the capacity of the sidewalk for pedestrians coming off of the High Line, being able to improve the connectivity between the steamship and the High Line for pedestrians along the waterfront is going to be a great first step in improving the walkability of the entirety of downtown. So there are plans that are going to continue to develop and build off of these early improvements, and so that's a real big, positive, exciting project that's coming.
It's great that we're thinking about and putting money towards pedestrians, because it's easy just to put it all towards roads,
Yeah, sure.
and cars,
Well,
trucks.
You're right, and it's important to also understand. I know you're chairman of the BPAC, the Bicycle
Pedestrian Advisory
Committee. Thank you, and so that's part of it. Is we sort of look at moving people today in transportation very differently than we did even 10 years ago. The focus has always been on vehicles, whether it's cars or trucks, mostly passenger cars. As you know, as a citizen in the United States, we are very individualistic. We're very driven to be able to get in our car, drive to where we want to go to any time of day or night, get there and park right out front, so we have the limited amount of walk to wherever our destination is. So it's very unlike some of the other parts of the world where public transportation is the way to go. Don't own a car, either own a bike or just take the subway or etc. Not to say that that's going to be embraced in the United States here anytime soon, but being able to provide people options to get from point A to point B differently is really the key. And we're not going to be able to handle, as we know, we're not going to be able to handle every single vehicle on our roadway system, particularly here on the island. So offer not just talking about it, but actually executing projects like the in-town bike path, and then connecting to that. Providing, there's been talk about year-round bus service. That's fantastic. We have taxis, we have Uber, we have other major ways to move people around. Providing capacity on sidewalks for pedestrians is one way. Providing connected bike paths is another big way. And obviously, vehicles are something else that we need to continue. It drives the commerce here as well. So.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Rob. I really appreciate talking to you about
Thank
Public
you so
Works
much.
and all the projects and challenges and great things you guys are doing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.